So I'm a grade 8 teacher with the Nipissing Perrystown Catholic District School Board. And what we did this year was, what we really found was that there wasn't a lot of, in our board we have 9 feeder schools and we all directly go to one high school. So it's much easier than, I guess, for some of you that, I don't know, the way your board works is they go to different schools. All ours go to one school. So what our board decided was, just to find a little more cohesiveness between the elementary and the high school, was what we did is we got 2 panels. We did a teacher one and a student one. But it was interesting, when we did the student one, we had a lot of students volunteer to do it. Yeah, we'll find out when we get to the high school, what's it like to be in the grade 8, what's it like to be in the grade 9, but with the teachers, nobody signed up. It was like, and it was more like, how come nobody's signing up? And it was, I know for me, for my grade 8 class, I had 29 students. And I know I said it yesterday, I had 26 boys, 3 girls, 22 of them were, 20 or 21 of them were IEP and 15 or 16 behavior. So I was like, they're yours now. Like I'm done with them. Like, they're all yours, you can take them. But I just found with our board, we just need a little more respect between the grade 8 and the grade 9 teachers, just to, okay, your job isn't easier, it's different. So what we did is, we spent a week, our board gave us a week to go to the high school, sit in the high school classroom, team teach with them to see what it's like. And I was like, oh, this is much more difficult than I thought it was going to be. And then when they came to us, they were like, oh, it is different. You got kids tapping the desk, leaving when they want. It just, so we found that was a huge thing for us. And just a little more, so it just continued our dialogue between the 2 panels, I guess. With the students, they came back and they were, as we know, that they're the most honest. They're going to come out and they're going to say exactly the way it is. And they came back with 2 big things, and which I didn't even realize. They said when they hit the grade 9, I said, is it harder? They said, it's not necessarily harder, Mr. McLeod, it's fast. Like the team, they go really fast. So they're like, with you, we can take time from other subjects and mix and match our timetables. But when they're gone, they're gone. I see my teacher for 76 minutes, then I got to find them, I got other classes. So they said that we're really adjusting to that. So with our board, we're just trying to come up with solutions where maybe we can figure out things with that. The other thing is, a huge thing was the terminology. They said that when we're in 7, 8, the terminology is so much different when we get to grade 9. It's concepts are the same, but the terminology, and that's what Olivia said. So I know that's one huge thing we're working on. The other thing we found was when we hit our at-risk students, when they left to go to grade 9, we're like, what are we doing for them? And that goes back to my thing that I said before, they're your problem now. But that's not the right attitude to have. We need them to find something that they're going to enjoy when they hit the high school. So what our board does, and I know your boards probably do somewhat the same thing, is our board gives us, the grade 7 and 8 teachers, one full day to fill out a transition planner. So that's what ours looks like. So what we'll do is we'll go through and, so at risk, so we take our at risk, bunch of different ideas. So that's done online. It's sent automatically, electronically to the high school. Jim, can you go back to the other? Yeah. And we have a huge team that looks after all these transition planners. So on that, admin, guidance counselor, special ed, health nurse, meet with the grade 8 teachers for final input on what we can do to make sure that these students succeed when they hit the high school. So then, after the student success team have reviewed the planners during the full day retreat, the students are put in a program that best suits their needs. So the high schools call the parents, say, this is what we're looking at doing. What do you think? What don't you think? We get your input on it. And we really find when they come back, especially our at-risk students, they'll come back and say, oh, I'm glad you volunteered, not voluntold us to get this, put us in these programs, give us a chance to, because maybe they wouldn't sign up for a sports team or an art club on their own, but the high school teachers will go and find them because they get the list of people who are interested in the art, interested in music, and they're geez, the teacher came and asked me to participate. That's awesome. So it just gives them a little more chance to succeed. So that's what I know, and your boards probably do the same thing. So that's pretty much where we're at with ours.
Excuse me? Yeah. resource teacher, and we do that. We do a transition between the grade 8 and high school.
Oh, great.
A point I'd like to make is that I was talking to this gentleman over here. There are students that are coming up from grade 8 that are working with a modified program. Once they get to high school, the big difference is they are working to get credits.
Mm-hmm.
And if they don't pass, they don't get a credit.
So we actually have something in place for that at our school. And we have our certs go out to the grade 8 teachers and talk about those students that aren't meeting grade 8 expectations, because they're going to be passed along. And we found this.
Passed along.
They'll be passed along. Like they will be passed to grade 9, applied math. And we found that our failures, majority of them hadn't met the grade 8 expectations. So they were coming not prepared. So for whatever reason, and there's lots of reasons, usually it's attendance related, but there's lots of reasons. So we're not talking about students on extreme modified programs, but they're in that 7, 8 range and they're just not at grade 9 yet. So we have a program, those kids are hand selected for a class, and we do like grade 9 applied modified with them first semester, and then as a class they transition to grade 9 applied second semester. And we've taught kids in grade 10 applied now that have come through that, and they have, each year we've had one kid not get the grade 9 applied credit. And it might be that they were suggested not to go on. Like, you know what, you've got your grade 9 applied modified, now go to grade 11 workplace. Like, take next year off. You're not set up for it. Like, so, and then everyone else has passed. So it's been a huge relief on that kind of system. Yeah.
And the 9 applied and modified class, we actually have, it's been the head of the department and the assistant head, so Lisa Pepperell and Darren Hand, they team teach that class. So they basically each get 12 kids, but they put them together in a room of 24, and there's 2 teachers in there. And they spend a lot of time not just catching them up on the math from grade 6, 7, and 8, but organizing. Like, so they spend Fridays organizing their binders and their notes and everything, and just getting them into that good student habits, you know. And then they end up taking math all year, because then they go into the 9 applied. So that keeps that consistency going, right? So it just really has helped those kids get back on track, because they get pushed through no matter what now in elementary.
Do they get 2 credits?
They do. Yeah, in our school they are defined as 2 different credits. So they could take the 9 applied modified, the 9 applied, and then the 11 workplace and be done.
And those that are working, let's say at grade 4, 5, 6, and
They
then
would go
grade
into a
8,
regular modified
do they
class.
go, do you have locally developed
Yeah.
programs?
Yes.
And if the parents insist that they go into applied, they go into that modified applied program?
Yes.
Interesting.
Yes.
So other than the math credit that they're getting, what is the other credit that they're getting?
It is 2 math. But the way they've coded it in guidance, and our team worked with guidance, it is considered 2 senior math, and then they only need their senior math to get out, which is why they can take the 11 workplace. So it's a really nice way of doing it. We've heard of other boards doing it, but
The GLS credit.
it's a GLS credit, which sometimes they need that somewhere else in their career of high school. So we liked having it as a 2 math, and then they're not forced to take 9, 11, and 12 too.
Sir, can I ask what the code is for the 9 modified then?
Oh, you can ask.
Just MFM1PM.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
But I don't know if, you'd have to talk to Lisa
Because
Pepperell.
our board is that we have that, but they get a GL credit
Yeah.
instead of a math.
Yeah, so,
And it's a big selling factor when you're talking to the grade 8 parents, because they're like, I don't want my kid to have to take 2 credits and not get math. They don't even like math. I was never good at math. Like but when you say they will get 2 math credits, and if they're not comfortable moving on to grade 10, they're done junior math. Then they're like, ooh, that sounds good. So.
can I sign up?
Yeah.
See, the other big thing when they came back, it was like, it was interesting, because like I said, kids are really honest. They came back and they said, high school teachers, they're more important than elementary teachers. I'm like, why is that? Because you know and I know that you can't fail me. But they can. So why can they and you can't? And I'm like, you're right. And they're very,
elementary system.
and they're very upfront, they're very honest. You can't fail me, and you know you can't fail me. So that was a huge thing too, where they said, yeah, we have to work a little bit harder when we get to grade 9, because you have to repeat credits if you don't do enough. Sorry, yeah.
Who determines which students go into the modified? Is it the grade 8 teachers?
Our team goes out, like with outreach, they go to the schools and meet with the special education resource teacher at the school and the grade 8 teacher.
So certainly special education teachers?
Yes, yeah. Sorry. Sorry.
No, that's all important questions to be asking. So I'm just going to talk a little bit about what the Continuum of Learning was for our board and our project. And our team consisted of turned out to be a big group of people, but it was for grade 6 to 10 teachers. We had this year hired an Aboriginal student graduation coach who was assigned the role of kind of a community outreach, a caring adult in the building to help support those students coming in. We have our high school is a 7 to 12 building. We kind of have a school within a school, but we also have lots of we have several reserves around our area where students attend a federally funded school to grade 8, but they have to come into our city, into Kenora, to actually go to high school. So some of them are leaving their families, leaving their communities, and staying with family members living in the city, or some of them are in boarding homes, and so that transition is challenging, you can imagine. So we tried to put something in place to help them. We also had special education teachers involved and administrators. And our big piece of the whole project, I think, were 3 things that we found that the collaboration really was a team approach, and we really took on this mindset of our students rather than just the my students, coming from the grade 6 teachers all the way to high school, that we were all there for the purpose of helping these.